Can you guys hear me? Okay, I can't hear you guys right now. Now we can. There we go.
We'll start in about 3 minutes, Greg, okay?
Yep, thank you.
Yeah.
Someone is
This
good
is the
AI
AI.
and share the speech.
Yeah.
Good partners.
Which family?
Yeah, is that okay either?
I can't tell. Get my.
We'll now open the public hearing on the application submitted by Clary Soto.
We'll get into the public hearing. Chair Dusterbeck.
Here.
Secretary Finelli.
Here.
Commissioner Bachman
Here.
and Commissioner Schroeder.
Here.
Another quorum.
This is the, agenda.
So someone needs to make a motion to approve the agenda.
Motion to approve agenda.
Second.
There are no minutes, so we can skip over that.
And now we're going to the public hearing.
Yes, sir.
We'll now open the public hearing on the application submitted by Carrie Soto on a remodel on the property located 314 Poplar Avenue, Paonia, Colorado, 81428. Appeal and administrative denial of a remodel of a second dwelling unit at the property. This is a continuation of the hearing from June 15th, 2026. Purpose of this hearing is to provide a public forum for all interested parties who wish to comment on these applications before the zoning board of adjustment and appeals. Procedure for this public hearing will be as follows. First, all documents, including the denial, are included in the packet. Next, there are 5-minute presentations by the applicant. After these 2 presentations, we'll allow members of the public to speak up to 5 minutes. All testimony must be presented at the lectern after you give your full name, address, and I swear you in. Please do not repeat any points made by others, but fine just to say that you agree or disagree with comments previously made. Please direct all your comments to the zoning board of adjustments and appeals and not the town staff or the applicant. After reviewing the public comments, we will allow the applicant and town staff to an opportunity to respond and answer any questions raised by the public comments. I will then turn the matter over to the zoning board of adjustments and appeals and the commissioners. They ask questions of any who testified. We generally will not ask questions during the presentation. Finally, I'll close the meeting. And the zoning board of adjustments and appeals will discuss the matter and take some kind of action. Once the public hearing is closed, no further comment from the applicant or the public will be taken. However, the zoning board of adjustments and appeals may ask for advice from the town attorney. Public hearings are recorded for the record. We have proper notification.
Yes, we do.
Do we have any commissioner members that have any disclosures?
No.
Would the town administrator like to add anything else in addition to the information already included in the packet?
They can't hear you, you have to speak up.
Oh. Would the town administrator like to add anything to addition to the information already included in the packet?
No.
Are there any other staff comments?
I would like to make a note on the report, the two motions and potential. Recommend to the town board and the clerk has informed me that that is not the process. So instead of recommending to the board, your decision, as I understand it, is the decision. But you could recommend conversations to the planning commission or the board, I believe. Traditionally, I've gone through and read and or summarized from the packet I've created. Do we want to do that or do we want to skip that part?
I think did we read it last week or not?
No, it didn't get read last week.
So next is your staff presentation.
Okay, it's just, yeah, it changed, but how we get used to it, sorry. So as you know, the meeting is here to request for a zoning variance arising from a rejection for a building permit. Very specifically, the applicant is asking for a variance to remodel a 480 square foot accessory dwelling located in the rear of the lot. The crux of the problem is that the lot is zoned R1, low density residential district, and only one habitable structure is allowed on the lot. It does contain two dwellings currently, and both of those residences were both built in 1940, which does predate the zoning law. Those are the applicable regulations. So the application I received includes shortening a wall, raising a floor in the bedroom 12 inches, replacement and addition of climate control elements, the addition of a solar tube, as well as other modifications that do not require building permits. The drawing is in the packet of what I received. I designed it based on alterations and extensions to non-conforming buildings. In other words, grandfathered buildings that aren't, if they stay in the same condition, aren't required to change to match current laws and regulations as long as they're not changed. But because the non-conforming building is undergoing an alteration, it has to apply with the current zoning requirements, including but not limited to setbacks, height, open space, and parking. The exceptions are below, so the purpose of the alteration is for repairs to a building or a structure that is ordered by a specific public official to make it safe. The purpose of the alteration is to make maintenance repairs that are needed to keep the building in good condition, or there is a special hardship created by strict application of this code, and a variance is granted by the Board of Adjustments in accordance with provisions of Article 15 of this chapter. So as the submitted building permit application was for significant alterations to the existing non-conforming building, thus with a strict interpretation of the code would require the property to be brought up to current zoning code. In this case, that code would specify that a lot zone R1 can only have one dwelling unit for the schedule of uses. The applicant applied for a variance, arguing that the remodeling is limited to interior repairs and improvements necessary to restore the structure to a safe and habitable condition. Noting that the building's exterior would undergo no changes, the footprint of the structure would not change, and the work will not increase density beyond what has previously existed, nor negatively impact neighboring properties. So staff can either comment on or verify the habitability of the structure as it stands, but the argument that the non-conformance is not made worse, the renovation seems to be valid based on the provided sketch of improvements. Additionally, The proposed renovations support several policies outlined in the 2025 Town of Paonia Comprehensive Plan under Housing Goals 1 and 2. And these are 5 different policies that basically talk about having different sorts of habitable structures and having flexibility in how people can add habitable structures to the town in order to help with the population, well, the affordability. And these came out in 2005, so it is newer since the code was written, so the code has not been adapted to consider any of the policies that came out in that comprehensive plan. Maintaining and bringing existing non-conforming units up to date without changing their footprint allows Paonia to provide a wider range of housing options without adding additional units that may impact the town's character, which is what the comprehensive plan is about. Staff recommends approval of BR 2026-003, allowing the applicant to continue with the permitting process, including provided engineered designs for the structural elements of the remodel and mechanical permits as necessary for the HVAC elements of the design. The board may consider discussing whether this request represents a singular exception, a different interpretation of the code, or perhaps whether a code adjustment may align the code more fully with the 2025 comprehensive plan. If the board decides to recommend anything but a singular exception, staff requests a narrow specific circumstances be added to that recommendation. The ZBOA may also consider asking the town board to send the larger issue to the planning commission for consideration. I do believe this board can only deal with this particular case, that can definitely talk about this is a broader issue that we may be seeing more of. And yeah, thinking about it in context of the water moratorium will also be helpful, and existing units versus not, etc. That is all I have.
Yeah, or the applicant's representative, please come up to the podium, state your name and address for the record, and take the oath.
Carrie Soto, 314 Poplar Avenue. What else?
Your oath is just to say, I promise to tell the truth,
I promise to tell the truth,
nothing but the truth.
nothing but the truth.
So help me.
Good evening and thank you for your time. This request involves a pre-existing dwelling on my property that existed prior to the town's 1983 regulations, and has long functioned as a residential unit with its own gas and electric services. We are not proposing any expansion of the structure, any increase in density, or any change to the character of the neighborhood. Our goal is simply to rehabilitate and preserve an existing dwelling that is outdated so that it can continue to be used safely as housing. The improvements are limited to the existing structure and include updates to the interior utilities and accessibility. We believe this request is consistent with the comprehensive plan's goals of preserving existing housing and maintaining neighborhood character. We respectfully request your approval.
Thank you.
Yeah, I need to sign. Or just.
No, I think you're on the record, so you don't need to sign in there.
Thank you.
If anybody else from the public would like to speak? Sign that. Do they have to sign in since they're already stating their name and everything?
Because spelling is important.
That makes sense.
I think worse than spelling someone's pet name incorrectly in minutes.
My name is Randy Garyberry. I live at 319 Poplar, which is right across from this Carrie's home. So I don't, first of all, sorry.
You just need to say, I swear to tell the truth.
I've got the truth, nothing but the truth. Okay, thank you. So as Carrie said, this dwelling has been a rental ever since we've moved back up here, lived there. And a lot of people use there. To me, what they're trying to do to this place is great, because they're trying to update it, make it a better livable place. Also, as you guys know, this town needs more rental space. It's very low in that and they need it. The other thing is that it's not affecting anybody, none of our neighbors that are around there, it's not affected. In fact, it'll be a bonus. Because Brian's mother, who's an elderly lady, is gonna move out here and would like to live in that place. So we would think it would be great if you guys approve, whether it's just a single exception to the zoning rule for this bill. I think it would be great for the town too. Thank you.
I'm in town, Barb Hatch. Do I need to swear?
Swear, and then your address, please.
Oh, I'm sorry, 315 Poplar. So we're also, right across the street from Cary. And this place needs to be brought into oh, sorry.
Can you just
Swear, okay, yeah, I swear to,
tell the truth?
not swear, no. That this property needs to be made handicapped accessible. She is arriving next week. Brian's mother, who has Parkinson's and is also starting to lose her vision. And I certainly hope this has never been a problem with any of us in the neighborhood. And I certainly hope that the town will grant this variance. When we moved off the farm 15 years ago, the town gave us a variance on our property. And I don't think it's something that unique, but the property has to be made handicapped accessible. And that's why the floors are going to be raised up. And now with some climate change, we need the high vac and whatnot updated. So my husband, I don't know if he's gonna speak, but we both believe that we'd love to see your board grant a variance on this property. So this woman has a place to live rather independently, even though there's great neighbors. Our neighborhood's just wonderful to be there to help out if Brian or Carrie need help with his mom, who's coming in from Florida to live up here. So I thank you very much. And handicapped accessible is extremely important. See this?
Yeah.
No, it's not. Thank you. You
Maybe I should take a turn.
sure should.
No one minds. My name is Randy Rowland. I live next door to the north, to Cary and Verizon at 320. Good luck with my handwriting. I swear to tell the truth, nothing but the truth.
Thank you.
I've lived at that address for a year, and I found Carrie and Brian to be extremely conscientious, thoughtful, helpful people. I know they'll do a good job on this, and I think it will serve both them, his mother, who needs to be served, and our community. We are fairly close on that street. This would be a great thing for you to do. I mean, a really great thing for you to do if you could grant a variance on this. So that would be my wish. Thank you.
Sorry.
Yes, please.
My name is Scott Warren. I live at 323 Poplar, almost across the street from them. I swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, as far as I know it. I lived in Durango for 29 years, and during that entire time, they were dead set against auxiliary units. Since then, they've started encouraging people to do it because, you know, working people need affordable places to live. And I think even then, even when I was living there, an existing unit like this would have been okay. And now they really encourage it. And I think it's maybe something that Paonia has to think about too. The other thing is fixing up anything is worthwhile. You know, this town, a lot of parts of the town, I've lived here 2 years now. I've built houses, I wrote books on historic architecture. I think this town, parts of it are kind of run down. And so if I'm gonna see somebody rebuild, you know, modify something to make it better, I think that's great.
Never been on this end before. Actually, my wife and I both 315 Poplar. Across the street.
Where am I?
It's the first time I ever visited the town and there's been no.
Mike, speak up at least.
There's not speaking loud enough. I swear it's. Yes. For sure, I swear all the time. Okay. But yeah, well, like I said, we've lived here since 2011. And if there were any issues, I'd find it, there's been nothing. I mean, they've just done everything well. And when we're on the town council, what the town's really neglecting is having handicap accessibility in town. It's really bad. And we were working on it. I don't know how it's going, but we tried. So I don't think it's something, it's just an improvement to an existing building. And I had no problem with them doing that, and I concur with. I know house speakers just ramble, and I just concur with everybody else. I think make life easier. So that's my opinion. Thank you. Not that anybody ever wanted that.
Do any other public comments? Does the applicant wish to offer any further comment, anything further from the town staff? We'll now close the public comment portion of the public hearing. Before we turn to the commissioner questions and deliberation, I want to state that the documents. I want to state that the documents included as part of the record for this comment hearing include all applicant materials submitted by the applicant, all materials included in the packets, all written referral and public comments received regarding the application, the notice of hearing, and the town ordinances. Does anybody have any objection to the inclusion of these items in the record?
No.
Let's begin.
I have questions for Carrie. Has it ever been a rental?
Yeah, historically, the entire time I've owned the property. And before that, I'm not sure exactly how much time, but. Yeah,
And when was the last time it was rented?
she moved out April 1st.
Oh, okay, so it's very recent. And I'm assuming it has water, because,
Yeah,
and was water installed when the building was first built?
I believe so. It appears that way, and gas and electric appear to have been there for a long time.
Okay.
So does each one have a separate tap or is it off the same tap?
Same tap.
Same tap.
So we do have two water base rates, so it's known by us in the system.
So it's 2 meters?
So it's 1 meter, but two base rates.
Oh, 2 meters.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there 2 stalls for parking, or would parking ever be an issue, or is?
No, off the alley, there are 2 spots for parking. Just for that unit, and then we have our parking in the front as well.
I've been there years ago. One of my friends lived in it, and it's really, really darling. Floor plan's very warm and cozy, and I myself would love to see it updated, brought up to code. And so I'm all for it.
Great, do you have any questions?
Yeah, I do. So I just want to understand, the lots, R1 and R1 does not allow accessory dwelling units, but R2 and R3 do. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Does the town have any idea how many properties that are zoned R1 might have a similar situation to this?
There's someone's pointing it might heck over there now.
Yeah, I heard the number, but I forgot. I can't.
There are quite a few that I do know.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was gonna get at, because it seems to me that, the language in, I think the kind of the grandfathering clause, really focuses on, alterations, which I don't think this is an alteration. This is basically just staying compliant with code updates and issues. Alteration would be, adding extra square footage, and that would be, kind of counter to the grandfathering clause of nonconformity. So I guess what I hear is it's like, I almost think that this is just kind of like it's an exercise in basically just, remodeling, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, that's how we see it as well. I know that it was rejected based on the town's historic practices for the last 3 years of dealing with properties like this.
Yeah. And I guess, and the other thing, I guess I had another question is, with the comprehensive plan, I think having a lot of housing policies that I think, encourage people to do exactly what Carrie is looking to do here, which is basically to bring a nonconformity, at least up to the point where it can be habitable and can be utilized appropriately. It almost makes sense that this, the code, or at least there should be an amendment, at least especially to the R1 zoning, that kind of just allows this by regulation, rather than have to have somebody go through the effort to
I agree.
get a denial and then have to go through the zoning board of adjustment, which, it's not to say that it's hard, but it certainly takes a lot of time out of the schedule. And I think, applicants, apply for these things, and just the way that with the public noticing and everything like that, it's 2 or 3 months down the road before you can get hopefully an approval through the zoning board of adjustment. And, I think it's not, in my opinion, let's make the government work for our citizens by trying to make this not have to go through so many hoops, if that makes sense.
Amen.
Yeah, what about a different point? What would be it's R2 with the exception that we would make? Because in that way it would be different than the rest, so we don't have a problem later where people are like, well, I want 80, give it to me. Just so we don't have any issues going forward.
I mean, that is another hurdle. It would have to be another hearing to do that. And there are definitely places where we do have these tiny pockets of R2 or C1 in the middle of our big blocks of R1 zones. I would actually ask, the town administrator, is this something that could be done through, an administrative process that we are just interpreting at the code differently? Because it does say, as long as it does not make the, non-conformance worse.
Right, or alterations that add on to the footprint,
Right.
which would make it not be able to say it's grandfathered. So I mean, is that what you were saying in the beginning when you were, I kind of picked up
Yeah,
in your language that we could bring this, or you could bring this, or we would.
Right, or it could be
bring this
made
before
as a
the
decision at the
Board
administrative.
of Trade,
level
yeah, the
too.
Board of Trustees can vote that it could be
Right,
something like Greg said.
yeah,
I
and
do think it's a waste of time now, Carrie's, you know, mother-in-law to be whatever is going to have to live with them until it's all done, because this has taken such a long time.
yeah,
Well, I would like to hear from the town administrator on that question as to if this is something that can be done administratively.
I think it could be done fairly easily.
Okay. So if we make a recommendation that, what would be the recommendation then?
Recommendation to allow situations like this to be assessed under the grandfather.
Right.
Okay.
And I guess, you know, the concept would be, as, you know, an alteration could be defined as something which is, you know, increasing of habitable space or increasing footprint size, where this is not doing that. This is basically just dealing with existing conditions.
Yeah,
And so if that's the finding that we can make, can we basically, you know, somebody make a recommendation or make a motion to accept the, I guess, the nonconformity language that we believe that the presented improvement plans are basically in accordance with this, I guess, this nonconformity language or something like that.
yeah, that's what we need to either have you work on with the Board of Trustees, or I don't know.
And also, like was mentioned with Durango, allowing ADUs in town right now is becoming popular in all over the country, because it's by far the cheapest way to increase your housing stock.
So the next part of that question, I guess I wanted to ask about is, if let's just say, for instance, this property was zoned R2 and there was not this accessory dwelling unit, you would be allowed by zoning to construct an accessory dwelling unit. Is that correct?
that is correct. You can have two habitable buildings.
Okay. But if I see right now from the
Water.
use, from the use, of course, I understand. But
Yeah.
from the use table right now, in R1, there is no accessory dwelling unit that's allowed. So the only situation would be if there's a non-conforming structure on the property that has been used historically as a accessory dwelling unit. Is that correct?
Yes, and I think those are two different conversations, right?
They
One
are,
is our
yes.
current one, and then the other one that's been brought up is thinking about ADUs and payonia more broadly. And I think those are two different things that can be dealt with in two different ways, if you wanted, perhaps with one specifically to this
Right.
language, and then a second one to bring up this broader conversation, because I think definitely it should be.
Well, would one of us bring that up to the Board of Trustees, or how would that work?
You can bring it to staff and then staff would bring it.
Okay,
Right, or-
We would do that through
okay.
our motion.
Yeah.
So my only concern is that, again, we have a water moratorium out, and if there isn't a secondary tap on that property, according to the water moratorium, we can't allow that building to change.
Well, I mean, I don't know that that's accurate, 'cause they're not adding a bathroom, they're changing.
Right, no, not for her.
Oh, not for this,
No,
but-
but I'm talking in.
Oh, yeah,
general.
definitely. I think with the water moratorium, that has to be dealt with before that broader conversation can happen, for sure.
Even if, well, we can discuss that later, because I was thinking if there's only one person living in a unit, because these units that I see downtown are very small.
Yeah,
And if you're charging for two of the,
right, which means that would be, it's a pre-existing one.
Right.
If there are two there, we know about them, we're charging for
But
them.
if, let's say if it's not,
Mhm.
and there's just one person, would that be that much of a burden on the water? Cause I heard we have a lot of water, but it's just not.
And that's a whole other
Okay.
large discussion, and I would also say that I'm thinking about what the dwelling can handle as opposed to what's currently there is also important, because at some point it may get sold. What
Right,
happens to
right.
it next, right?
Well, because it's so
Right.
small.
Right,
Yeah.
but I mean, an accessory dwelling unit, you know, it goes with the main unit, and so therefore it cannot be sold separately, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And it always has to serve as either a rental unit or, you know, I guess, you know, additional housing for, you know, the owner of the property, because it can't be parceled off. So, and it's, I guess the other part of that question, which it sounds to me like the town's interpretation of the water taps is that every structure needs its own water tap. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes, I think that's any habitable structure needs its own
Okay,
water.
and Gia, what you're suggesting is that an ADU could basically almost be like a subsidiary to the main water tap, but that's another conversation for another day.
Yeah.
It still would be cleaner to have another one, but
Yes.
moratorium stops it right now.
Yeah,
So could you say if the moratorium were ever lifted, would you be willing to put in some?
yep,
So it doesn't make it mandatory, it says if it ever happened.
I almost bought one before they stopped selling them. Yeah. Then
Right,
days.
it's a separate issue, basically.
Yeah.
Okay. Um. Okay, well, I guess can I make a motion? Let me try to figure this out. So this would be a motion to,
Greg, we're not there yet.
oh, we're not there? Okay,
We're still answering questions.
okay. Then I'll wait.
Is there any more questions, comments?
Nope.
Here, and I'll close it to our question period and we'll move on to.
You have to close the public hearing.
I closed the public hearing. We'll now close the public hearing and turn the matter over to the zoning board of adjustments and appeals for consideration, the resolution listed on the agenda.
So Greg, let's hear your motion.
Okay, let me try this here. I'm gonna probably need a little help in trying to figure this out. So I think I would like to make a motion, hold on a second, to so I move to recommend approval of VR 2026-003 to the town board, as well as recommending a discussion of the interpretation of, what was the section, help me out here, which was the nonconformity section? That's PMC 161330, is that correct?
Yeah, 1630/30A.
Yes, so subject to a discussion of the interpretation of PMC 163030A with respect to accessory dwelling units in R1 zones meeting the requirement to be considered a non-conforming building. And I think the specific language that I would like to say is that the submitted plans basically are in accordance with this nonconformity language.
And we take out recommendation to the town board. We need that.
Do we have to do that?
We told them they can make it.
Yeah.
No, they can't, but do they have to, is the question.
No, I don't think.
Okay, all right,
Or they can
then
just say it.
I will second your motion.
Okay,
And we have a roll call vote.
I.
No,
Oh.
yeah,
Secretary Nelly,
Bye.
Secretary Vanelli.
Commissioner Schroeder,
aye.
Commissioner Bachman,
aye,
and Chair Dusterbeck.
Aye.
Motion carries.
okay. Yeah.
Do we still go before town council tomorrow?
No, you're done. You don't need it now. Yeah. No, she can.
All right, thanks, guys. Okay, bye-bye.